Well, good morning everybody. Welcome back to another video. Today I decided to make a road trip. So I'm down here at the Dulles Airport at the Udvar-Hazy Center Air and Space Museum. This is a really nice place to visit, and it's 760,000 square feet in here. Just one huge hangar, and it opened back in December of 2003, and I haven't been here since COVID, but there's all kinds of awesome aircraft in here. Everything from World War I to back in the jet age, and then they got a big thing on the space program. They got the space shuttle in here, an SR-71, and the B-29 that dropped the atomic bomb. So let's go in here and see some awesome aircraft. All right, here's the entrance. As you're walking in, you can see they got a lot of panels to the left and to the right with all kinds of people's names on it. It's dedicated to all those who have shared a passion for flight, everybody that donated money to the museum, and people that's been in the Air Force. And right up there you can see the observation tower, and they let you go up there when you go inside, and you get a 365-degree view of the Dulles Airport, and you can see the runways, and you can see the planes taking off and landing. So before I go, I'm going to go up there and do that. Alright, here's the first aircraft. It's Boeing FB-5, and this was used by the Marine Corps Fighter Squadron number 6. And that noise you're hearing in the background is the big yellow simulator back there, where you can actually pay to go on it, and it's like being on an actual aircraft flying. Now here's an overhead view of the World War I aircraft. Here's a close-up of this aircraft. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's whatever that says. Now we're looking down on a World War I German aircraft. And this one here's interesting. It's like a giant kite. And this is what this one is. Langley Aerodrome A. Yeah, you'll see some weird aircraft down here too. As soon as I get down there, I'll tell you what this one is. And now we got a Grumman F6 F3 Hellcat coming right at you. Yes. And now here's the original B-29 Enola Gay. This is the one that dropped the atomic bomb on Japan. And they got the inside lighted up a little bit, but with the reflection of the glass here, you won't be able to see it too well. But there is so much history behind this plane. Right above us now is a Kingfisher. That was a float plane used in World War II. And this plane looks just like a wing. That's a Horton HO3F. And here's an overhead view of the German aircraft. And here's a German glider they used in the 30s. And here's a little information on it. And now here's the restoration hangar. You can see it looks like, that there looks like maybe a German fighter, Me-109. Behind that, a P-51. They've done a lot of work here so far since I've been here. I haven't been here since before COVID. And here's an Air Force jet. This place was almost empty last time I was here, and they got a lot going on this time. Here's part of the Horton flying wing. Now we're coming around to the German aircraft. This is a Fokker Wolf 190. Played havoc on the Air Force during World War II. So you see this one's loaded up with a couple bombs. And now we got a Heinkel HE-219 radar plane. And this here was the AR-234B Blitz, German jet plane during the World War II. There's a little German helicopter. It's a FA-330A. And now we're looking at a Dornier DO-335A. This plane is huge. There's some information on this one. You can put that on pause if you want to read it. Now we're coming around to the Helldiver. You can see they got a bomb ready for it. There's a Walter rocket engine for this aircraft. Not much of an engine, but only had enough fuel to make it up to altitude and shoot at the Allied aircraft and glide back down to Earth. And here's the information on this aircraft. You can see that the wheels are not fixed on this aircraft. You see like a little skid right here. After the aircraft launches from its platform, the wheels come off, and then he'll have to use that skid to land on when he comes back for landing, if he comes back for a landing. And this here is the Me-163 Comet. Seen a lot of action late in World War II. And you can see like a little propeller on the front. That actually went around as the aircraft accelerated, and it ran the instruments inside. Had nothing to do with the powering the aircraft. And here we have the P-47 Thunderbolt. Going to be a lot of glare in here right now and low lighting, but bear with me. And here's a Japanese fighter nicknamed George. There's a Japanese float plane. I can't pronounce the name, but there it is. And here's part of a Japanese aircraft nicknamed Nick. There's another one. They just got the fuselage in the front part of it. And you see the radar on the front of it. And here we got another flying wing. It's a twin engine. You can see the propellers in the back. Now this is a Northrop N-1M. And there's a P-61 night fighter right behind it. And again, the P-61. That was a Black Widow. It was a night fighter. And on this display, we got the Tiny Tim missile. And there's also memorabilia on display. There's the back of an A2 jacket painted up. And then they got memorabilia on display. There's a rubber parachute ripcord handle. And we have flying glove electric inserts. Rice bowl in the box there from Japan. Up here we got flying goggles, flight helmets. There's a German cross in cloth. A pair of RAF goggles. And here's a U.S. summer flight helmet, and there's the goggles. Another good thing down here, they got a lot of good models on display. There's a B-24, and they got gauges out of the aircraft. And here's a case of more models. Here's a Sikorsky XR-4C helicopter. And now this here's a Stearman made by Boeing. This is the main trainer plane during World War II. All flying cadets had to learn how to fly in this one. There's a close-up of the engine. And then we got a British Spitfire. And I don't know if you can see it too well, but right there we got a Horton HO 229. That was a twin-engine jet from World War II that the Germans used. And now right here we got a Lockheed P-38J Lightning. This was the kind of aircraft that was used to shoot down Admiral Yamamoto. You can see the had 450 caliber machine guns up there in the nose. And in here we got original artifacts from General of the Air Force Henry H. Hap Arnold. And you can see back here's his shotgun and his hat and a couple of his medals and his desk. And that was one of his dress uniforms and the big flag in the back. Now we're back down on the ground floor looking at this crazy looking thing here. Take a look here, see what the sign says. Olmsted Pusher, it's called. And this here is an OA-1A seaplane. There's a really small aircraft.
What's the matter, Zoe? Hungry? Didn't you eat breakfast? Well, why didn't you eat breakfast?
It's a Verville Sperry M1 messenger plane. Pretty cool looking. And here we got some trench art on display. French uniform. And there's his medals. Now we're in a World War I aircraft. And this here is called a fuller gauge biplane. Now the next one you're going to be looking at is this here. And here it is. Twin engine. Excuse the glare on the glass. I have to hold it above the glass so I can get a better picture of the aircraft machine gun there. Here's a German aircraft. It's a Halberstadt CL-4. And in World War I, the Germans used all kind of crazy colors for their camo schemes. Top of the wing, you can see how it's camouflaged. And this one here is a SPAD 16. You can, in the back there, you can see the dual machine guns that the rear guy would have used. And now we're looking at a Curtiss Model E flying boat. And now you can see right behind me is my favorite airplane. If I can get it, here it is. Corsair. And if we go this way, we got the P-40. And now you're looking at the SR-71. Here's the Corsair again. And we got the P-40 again. I come in here, wouldn't use my selfie stick, and they wouldn't let me have it, so I didn't do too well in that last little section there with me in it. Alright, this is it for the military World War I and World War II section. Now I'm going to move into the jet age. And then they got in the other part, they'll have civilian airplanes. They got the 747 in here, and then they got the Concorde. And then we'll go take a look at things in the space part.
Here's the Blackbird again.
Here's this display on women in the Air Force. There's a uniform of a brigadier general. And there's a nurse's uniform from World War II. And there's a WASP uniform from World War II. Patches and bulb books. And here's a uniform from the Women's Auxiliary Ferrying Squadron. Now we're moving into the jet age, Vietnam and post-Vietnam aircraft. This one here is the Republic F-105D Thunder Chief. You see it's loaded up with bombs. And here's a SAM missile. A lot of these shot down our planes during the Vietnam War. And then beside that, we got the Cobra helicopter. And you can see the guns there from the Cobra helicopter. And this is the world famous Huey helicopter. Whenever you see a Vietnam movie, you'll definitely see one of these in there. And right here we got a CH-46E Sea Knight helicopter. This one's used by the Marine Corps. And here's a Sikorsky JRS-1. And now we're looking at a Loon missile, L-O-O-N, used by the Navy. Looks just like a German V-1 rocket. You can see the U.S. markings on it. And now we're looking at a North American F-100D Super Sabre. And now we're going to take a walk along one of my favorite bombers, the B-17 Flying Fortress. This wasn't here last time I was here. And right there's the bombardier seat. And right beside that we got an FA-18 Hornet used by the world famous Blue Angels. Right here we got the Bell X-1 Glamorous Glennis. Chuck Yeager flew this one to break the sound barrier, but I don't know why they got it covered up. And back there you can see part of the wing. one of the wings for the B-17 I just showed you. Now we're moving up to the F-14 Tomcat. Everybody's seen the movie Top Gun. This is the one Tom Cruise flew in the first movie. And when I was in the Navy on the aircraft carrier, we had a couple squadrons of these on board. I love the Tomcat. And underneath there you can see the missile, and that there will be fuel tank, and then on the side there we'll have a Sidewinder missile. And right here we got a Grumman EA-6B Prowler. That was a bomber used by the Navy. And right here we got the Lockheed Martin X-35B Joint Strike Fighter. And right here we got the Volt RF-8G Crusader. And you can see up there how the wings will fold up, or not fold up, but go up and down.
You cannot go, we can all go together.
And right here we got the Sparrow 2 missile. And this one here is the AM-120 AMRAAM missile. And here we got the Grumman A6 Intruder. That was a bomber. If any of you seen the movie Flight of the Intruder, you need to watch that movie. This is the aircraft they flew in that movie. That was a great movie. And right here we got another Sidewinder missile. And behind that is the F-4 Phantom. These were heavily used in Vietnam War. This one's Marine Corps BMFA 232. And then on this side we got the F-86 Sabre, used in the Korean War. They shot down a lot of MiGs. And speaking of MiGs here, we got a MiG-15. There's the intake, and down at the bottom you can see the big cannon. And right here we got the MiG-21. And here we got the ATOL missile. And there's that MiG again behind it. And here's a uniform used by a freed prisoner coming home. POW from Vietnam. That's what they gave him to wear. And there's a pair of Ho Chi Minh sandals from the Vietnam War. And here's a dog turd transmitter. They actually put a transmitter in it and made it look like a dog turd and just threw it down, and nobody would even think about it. And this here is a prisoner's pajamas used by the POWs in Vietnam War. If you ever heard of that. So there's a brick and tile from the Hoa Lo prison in Hanoi. And if you ever heard of the Hanoi Hilton, this would have been what the prisoners would have used when they was in the Hanoi Hilton. Those guys went through pure hell. Tortured every day, starved. Here's a little interesting helicopter. Small one. And it says it's a Sikorsky HO5S-1. I believe they used these in the 50s. Now we got a showcase here of different machine guns and different countries that used them. And here we got a Gyrodon QH-50C drone, anti-submarine helicopter. I think it's pretty cool looking. You can see the missile on the bottom of it. When they track a sub, they can lock it in and sink that sub. And right here we got the Mighty Mouse missile. Unguided air-to-air missile was usually fired in salvos from U.S. Navy and Air Force jet fighters. Here's the F-86 and the MiG together again. Now we'll take a look at this massive SR-71 Blackbird. There's the left engine. There's a close-up of the cockpit. They let you get inside there and start the engine up for $100. Nah, I'm just kidding. Now we're coming around to the front of it. Here's a cutaway of a Pratt & Whitney R4360 engine. That's a massive engine. Here's a cutaway of an Allison T56A1. There's a General Electric J31. There's a little Teledyne CAE J402-CA-400 engine. That was a rocket engine. There's a Japanese World War II jet engine. And back there we got an Allison V1710-33. Now we got a Wright Cyclone GR3350. Huge engine. And then right here we have a Pratt & Whitney Twin Wasp R2000. Now this one here is a Lycoming R680. And we got a Pratt & Whitney Hornet R1860. Yeah, they got all kinds of engines on display. There's a German Benz BZ4S. And this was a King Bugatti. I'm assuming Italian. Well, that's it for the military section. Now we'll walk over here and see some civilian planes. Now I've seen one more thing before I leave the military section I want to show you. These are two engines from the Martin B-26 Marauder. And here's the Enola Gay again. And now we're looking at the German Lufthansa airplane that was used for transport, commercial airline. Then it became troop transport in World War II for the German Luftwaffe. And here's a Boeing Dash 80. I brought my buddy down here one time with me. He served in Vietnam, and he told me this was the exact same plane that took him and his buddies to Vietnam. Here's an old American Airlines transport plane, the Clipper Flying Cloud. And it was a Boeing 307. And now we got this huge plane. We got the Concorde here, Air France. Now I'm underneath the Concorde now. You can see the two engines and the landing gear. And there's the front landing gear on the Concorde. And I'll move up. Air France. And here's the Sikorsky YH-19A helicopter. And then here we got the C-121 Lockheed Super Constellation. And right here we got a helicopter that flew around the world. On September 30th, 1982, H. Ross Perot Jr. and J. Colburn completed the first round-the-world helicopter flight in the Spirit of Texas. Almost impossible to believe, but it happened. And here got some pretty cool models again. And we got a bunch of different helicopters. I would love to give this one a try. It's a Hiller YRO E1 rotocycle used by the Marines. You can see the pilot, he will sit there in his seat and strap himself in, and he's got his collective lever right there on the left of him, and then there's like 3 instruments. That's all he's got. This one here would be pretty cool. And right here we got a Fairchild FC2W2 Stars and Stripes. It's got the ski landing gear on it. There's an interesting glider. And here's an interesting plane. It's a Curtiss F9C2 Sparrowhawk. And here's the cabin area from the Goodyear blimp. And then below that we'll have a bomb cart. Here's the Grumman G-21 Goose seaplane. And in this case, we just got some different memorabilia on display. Darn glare. And in here we got a lot of stuff about Charles Lindbergh. All kind of commemorative coins and just all kinds of stuff like that. Alright, here we got a Grumman F8 F2 Bearcat Conquest 1. And then more above it hanging up. Alright, that's it for the civilian part. So next we're going to move into the space program. So Kirk to Enterprise, beam us aboard, Scotty. Alright, now we're in the space part. There's the space shuttle. And they got a lot of rockets in here. Up there hanging, I'm assuming that's some kind of a satellite. And And here we got the Apollo 11 capsule. You got the flotation collar on the bottom, and then the flotation bags on top, keep it from sinking. And the Space Shuttle Discovery. This thing is huge. You got to see it up close. Realize how big it is. And here's the Mercury capsule, Friendship 7. And when I was a kid, I used to love watching these.
Using on us right now, we're using private space. We just had a private company land in.
And right here we got the Mercury capsule 15B Freedom 7-2. And if that glass wasn't on there, I could get a good shot of the cockpit, but too much glare. And right above us, that's part of the one of the rockets. And up there you still see more satellites hanging up. And the Discovery again. And here's one of the astronaut suits, complete with these helmet, gloves, boots, and oxygen. There's the Mars Pathfinder, and you can see that little vehicle there. Goes down the ramp. That's pretty cool. And now the engines of the Discovery. Imagine the thrust when that thing took off. And here on display they just got different rockets. There's more rockets. And in here we got the Falcon missile, AGM-76A. And right above us you can see more rockets. Here we got some drones and more rockets. And here we got the engine from a Titan I rocket. A little dark, but sorry. There's an H1 rocket engine. And right here we got the Jupiter S3 rocket engine. And right here we got a Navajo rocket engine. And this one's called a Redstone rocket engine. And this here is a combustion chamber from a World War II German V-2 rocket. And here we got an R1 rocket, missile I mean. I'd hate to see that coming at me. Probably wouldn't be able to see it anyway. And here we got an SH-293A1 missile. Got some kind of Navy missile there getting ready to shoot off on its platform. And here's a Nike Ajax missile. U.S. Army. And here what's called the Corporal missile. And right beside this one we got the Little John missile and the launcher. Now right here we got the Apollo service module propulsion system. This is lighted up nicely in a case. Wish they had more lighting down here for everything else. And here's the Redstone missile. And this thing's huge. Alright, right here we got NASA's mobile quarantine facility. And there's the inside of it. Couple seats, table. Now right here we're looking at the Gemini heat shield. Another part of it. And here's an Android. I'll be back. And in here we got toys from the 1950s related to the space age. There's Captain Video. I don't know if you watched The Honeymooners, ever seen it, but Ed Norton, he always watched Captain Video. And in here we got some space science fiction toys. And kids' lunch boxes from the 50s. I got my buddy behind me here. Yeah, that's it for the space area. So now I'm going to move on to the observation deck, try to find that and look outside a little bit. All right, now we're up in the observation tower. Over there's Dulles Airport. You can see the runway there. A little view of the parking lot.
In the afternoon, then you get the international flight.
And early morning. You can track him pretty good.
I see him. I think he's starting his roll.
Now we're looking south. Nice clear blue skies today. One of the volunteers here just told me that there's very little activity going on at the airport right now. So I doubt if I'll get to see a plane up close flying. Alright, this is what it looks like inside the really nice view up here. And we got some activity going on over there on that side of the airport. I finally caught an airplane coming in for landing.
Starting route to 23-894 to Denver.
Well, I'm beat. I spent 4 hours in there walking around. Now I'm really tired. So that's going to be the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed my tour. If you liked it, please hit the like button, ring that notification bell, and please subscribe to my channel. Until then, see you on the next video. Have a good week.